Hi everybody, welcome along to Get Stuck In. So much to look back on and plenty to look forward to. Less than 9 weeks away from the Cheltenham Festival. I'm going to do both them things in the company of Dan Barber and Ben Linfoot. And straight away, lads, what horse is in the mindset now that wasn't when the big man came down the chimney?
Well, the obvious answer, I suppose, he left on saying he might not even be going to Cheltenham. That seems the vibe, but he was unbelievable in the Corto Star. But with him likely to be heading, or actually staying in his homeland for his big target this season, I'm going for, also I mentioned in probably the very first show, Shishkin. It's more of a case of re-entering, I think, rather than entering, because obviously his reappearance was a disaster, planted his heels and decided he didn't fancy it that day. But for me, he would have won that King George by daylight. I maintain a belief that he is arguably the best staying chaser around, and I include Galopin Des Champs in that, and one is a significantly bigger price than the other, but I thought he was much more like it under a positive ride in the King George.
Okay, Shishkin?
Yeah, plenty to go through, isn't there, Niall, with the Gold Cup all change, etc. It was a stayers hurdle horse for me, and Sir Gerhard, who won at Punchestown on New Year's Eve over 2 mile 3, but he beat a bunch of stayers that day. I thought the likes of the Devil's Coachman, Ashdale Bob, who we know stay 3 miles well, and I just thought back over hurdles, he's a much happier horse. I like the way he finished his race, and I think he definitely threw his hat into the stayers hurdle ring. So him for me wasn't really on my radar beforehand because of what happened during his novice chasing campaign, but much happier horse over Timber.
That stayers hurdle sort of a month ago was thinking it's just dross, it's just all very ordinary stuff, but there's a few horses coming out of left field now which you can see, but I totally get Sir Gerhard.
Robco, they probably knew they had a real one in Tupu from his arguably unlucky run last year and what he did in his return seeing off in Pere Pass, but they've now got Irish Point right into the mix, and I agree with you. I mean, he probably won't win it, but you think of Crambo putting himself into the mix now in seeing off Paisley Park. Say he won't win it, I was referring more so to Paisley Park given his age, but there aren't many better benchmark horses in the staying hurdles scene, in any scene, than him, and I thought Crambo really did take a big step up there. His handicap run at Haydock obviously caught the attention for the wrong reason in a lot of ways, but he was only off a mark in the 130s there. For him to take such a step up suggests that he might do something similar again next time.
Yeah. Okay, let us know what's your thoughts. Sure, there's a handful of horses. Do let us know in the usual way, as we are going to speak to a man who's going to reflect on a really good Christmas period, a bit of racing and a bit of boxing. It's Patrick Mullins. Okay, good to catch up with Patrick Mullins after a very busy, but as you'd expect, a successful Christmas period. Patrick, you must be look back with fond memories.
Definitely, sure. Look, obviously, Galopin Des Champs was the standout. I mean, for him to get back to form in the way he did was fantastic. And obviously, Stateman then, Stateman and Pere Passe was always going to be an interesting battle. And, it was great that Stateman won, but Pere Passe ran very well as well.
How is Galopin Des Champs afterwards?
Really happy with him. Adam Connolly, who rides him and looks after him, he just rode out last lot, actually. And he's fresh and well himself. So, I mean, look, you're probably always a little worried that a performance is that good mid-season, will it leave a mark? But it doesn't appear to have at home anyway. Good
stuff. He was overshadowed. The newspaper headlines were more about Gaelic Warrior and you. Why was that?
Sure. Like most families at Christmas, there was a bit of bickering going on, but no, Gaelic Warrior was fantastic. He jumped fantastic. Did jump to his right, particularly at the third fence. He was good and right at the third fence. And he was right at the second last, but nothing major. We got a good breather into him down the hill. I think the time was significantly faster than the handicap chase, so we went a good gallop. It was very heavy ground, but he handled it as if it wasn't wet at all. So he just has a huge engine.
I was just going to say, he's just a hell of a horse, isn't he? Yes, he wants to go right, and not many horses can forfeit ground, but he's just that good, isn't he?
He has huge ability, and the way he jumps over fences, he's going to be a better chaser than he was a hurdler. Look, the 2 times he's got beaten have been in Cheltenham going left-handed on the old course. Look, the way he jumps, you could come back to the Arkle with him, which is again the old course, or you could go for the Marsh or the JLT as it is, which is on the new course, which isn't quite as tight. So we'll see. I mean, look, Willie could go for the Irish Arkle and Leopardstown and get a look there. But again, Leopardstown has a straight, whereas Cheltenham is nearly a semicircle and the back straight. So, and in a chase race, there's more jumps than there is in a hurdle race. So if you are jumping out to the right a little bit, it's not a help. I don't think he's at his very best going left-handed, but he's still be very hard to beat going left-handed or right-handed.
No, absolutely. I want to talk Ballyburn as well. He was impressive.
He was very good. Look, I think the first day it turned into a sprint and we missed the second last, and that was game over, ball burst. And I don't think he's a horse with a huge turn of foot. Both times I won on his bumpers, he looked in trouble at the home bend, and then the turbo kicked in. We're stepping up to 2.5. He just blew him away, and that's the kind of horse we think he is. And I wouldn't mind taking on Firefox again.
Right, we're going to see Firefox Friday. It's good that the Lullers of Naas, obviously, the fog was abandoned at last Sunday, but they rescheduled on Friday, because that looks the deepest novice hurdle run this season, doesn't it?
It's a cracking race. Look, it was a pity the race had to be lost. I'm wondering, in this day and age, should we be able to get away around it? I mean, if the Jeep was able to go around with the tracker camera, I think the road was maybe too far away, but, could it drive on the grass? And at least, if you bring a steward and a commentator with you, you have a view and the integrity is safe. I think going forward, there has to be a way around fog, because it was fine to ride. You could see plenty around you, but obviously from the stationary cameras, it wasn't satisfactory. Look, it's a fantastic race. L'Atlantique and Firefox was much between them in bumpers. I think L'Atlantique is just a better horse on soft ground. Twice, I think he didn't let himself down to gallop when he got beaten in bumpers. Travelled very strongly. When I've had to ask him to stretch, he hasn't. Whether I'm not 100% certain that, but that's how I think it was. And obviously, Firefox sets a serious standard. But I was very happy to ride in Chapeau de Soleil. As a bumper horse, we thought an awful lot of him. And obviously, last year he had his issues. So, for me, I was surprised how big a price he drifted on the day. I thought he was going to run a big race.
Do you think it was Paul Townend, was it a straightforward opportunity or straightforward decision for him?
Sure, look, it is on paper at this moment in time, and that's why in novice hurdles, at this time of year, you often see a lot of upsets. It would have been very hard not to ride L'Atlantique. And look, he's a fine looking horse, gives you a great feel. But I think Chapeau de Soleil could be very good also. So we'll know more after Friday.
We will know more Friday. We're going to learn a lot more this weekend as well. I want to talk to you about Wellerby Towton Chase meeting of the water intended runner.
Yeah, we have him in. The plan is to run at the moment. We're looking to, it's a hotter race than maybe we expected. But yeah, we'll see how he works late in the week. But we've entered with the intention of running. Would
the Grand National be the plan for him?
Look, we'll go to Cheltenham first. And yeah, the Grand National is definitely on the radar as well. But look, he looks like he could be one for maybe the National on Chase or maybe the Ultima. But yeah, Aintree will be on the radar. If you get your way, it'd be National on Chase. You'll have lots of thoughts going around your head at the minute for the National on Chase, won't you? Well, I was hoping he was going to be my Kim Muir horse. That's why I bought him originally. But anyhow, Danny blew that out of the water in the Paddy Power. 2 lengths. Danny, he's just a pain, isn't he? I know. You need to ride 2 again soon. But no, look, it was a very pleasant surprise for a horse having his 4th runner with fences. To put in a performance of that was extraordinary. So yeah, that moves him up into the National on Chase possibilities. Look, Embassy Gardens is a possible. Maybe Nick Rocket. I think he still needs to qualify such new qualifications. So there's a handful there. But yeah, Meeting the Water definitely put his name into that hat after the Paddy Power. Where are you going to be Saturday? I'm going to be in Fairy House. Fairy House, yeah. So we have a couple of bump horses out. We have a couple more to come out, and hopefully 1 or 2 can stake their names for Cheltenham. But we'll have 3 or 4 entered, and we'll see which one works best near the end of the week. Nobody's watching. One name for me. What's left of the bumper horses? I'm looking forward to getting on a horse called C'est Ta Chance. He won a point for Pat Doyle. He's by a funny sire at Ellen Park, but we're hoping to get him out hopefully this month anyway. Good stuff. Right, thanks very much, Patrick. Well done over the Christmas period. Best of luck with the racing and the boxing going forward. Well done. Super, thanks, Niall.
Thanks to Patrick, good to speak to him. As always, right, plenty of horses surely entered the trackers. Let's hear what they are.
I'll go first now. Mine is Frero Bamboo, who was second at Cheltenham on New Year's Day in the race Stage Star was pulled up in. And he's on a losing run of 12, this horse of Venetia Williams's, but I think he's thriving and is a winner waiting to happen, really. He's run some excellent races in defeat this season in the Sefton at Aintree, in the December Gold Cup at Cheltenham, and then this handicap on New Year's Day, where I just thought they went too hard again in the early stages and he didn't quite have the finishing effort up the hill. But I think in different circumstances, either in a 2.5 mile race on a flat track or perhaps even coming back a little bit in trip, I think this horse is well handicapped and can strike.
Yeah, going over all ground again. I mean, must mention, you didn't start by slagging us off, because actually the results have picked up, haven't they? I think even you'd admit that, Niall.
I don't. Go and tell us why they've picked up.
Well, we just had plenty of winners lately, and Let It Rain was probably the figurehead one, winning that good bumper at Ascot after a bright win at Warwick. But yeah, we've had 6 or 7 winners in the last few weeks. It's finally clicking into gear, and I'm going over all ground again. I look like I'm light on prep today, mentioning a horse I've mentioned before, but how can I not reiterate the case for Ed Keeper after what he did on New Year's Day, or actually what he might have done had he not got the last all wrong. For one, we know his form is really strong from Newbury. That's why he got put in the tracker first time around. But then you've gone to another strong race at Cheltenham from a much higher mark, gone like the best horse at the weights, and then decided that you're going to land on the last flight rather than clear it properly. Still thought he had running left even though that happened, so I'm doubling down on the Ed Keeper case. I do think this is a horse who's heading to graded company eventually, overstaying trips.
Okay, the informed tracker horses and a couple to keep on the right side of in the coming weeks. Do let us know what you like as well. All the usual ways to get in touch. Okay, it's time for us to go around the yards this week. Remember Richard Hobson on horseback? We've beat it this week. We're going to start off with Jonjo O'Neill, who's on a ski slope. Yep. We're going to speak to Father Ted, and we're going to go to a car park in Lincolnshire with Daryl Jacob. We know that snow and skiing is popular with horse racing trainers and jockeys. One to prove just that is Jonjo O'Neill. Where exactly are you?
I'm in Courchevel now.
Perfect. Because you're banned for a couple of days this week.
Nice to get a few days away.
Right, it's breaking up a little bit, but we'll go in. We understand that you're climbing a ski lift. Monbeg Genius even at the weekend. How much are you looking forward to?
Yeah, looking forward to him. You know, it's a shame, obviously, he couldn't run in the Welsh National. But this is another good pot, and, you know, the track will suit him, the trip will suit him, handles bad ground. So I thought he ran very well in Newbury. The ground was probably just a little bit quick for him, but I thought he ran well and stayed on really nicely to be third. So this should be more his kettle of fish, hopefully. Yeah,
and we've seen one for Arthur's done this before going on to a Grand National. Could he be that sort of type if we got a wet spring over at Aintree?
Yeah, definitely. That's the kind of route we're looking towards. Probably since he was third at Cheltenham in March, really. We've been looking at the National really for this year. So.
Quick line, Dad's got Cribilli up in the Towton as well.
Yeah, not sure where he'll go yet. He's also in Warwick and a novice handicap chase as well. You know, he was unlucky in Cheltenham when he fell at the second last. Probably didn't jump as well the last time, but he is normally a very good jumper, so he needs to get that back up to scratch. But his first 2 runs have been pleasing now.
Tell us about the skiing. Are you sort of straight lining down black runs, or are you more taking it cautious, red and blue?
Yeah, we're a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so
straight lining down blacks.
Yeah, we're doing a lot, and we're enjoying it. I got a great instructor, Pierre.
Right. Bonjour, Pierre. How are you doing?
He's the OG around here, so we're going all the places we shouldn't be going, so it's good.
So you're going off piste, lots?
Yeah, we're doing a bit of that today, I think.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Good. Not jealous at all. Jonjo, thanks for taking time out of your, well, not busy schedule, your fun schedule, and best of luck at the weekend.
Perfect. Cheers now. Thank you.
See you later, lads. The feature staying chase on Saturday has got any second out ahead of the weights. The weights published on Tuesday morning. 159, Ted Walsh. What's your thoughts?
I Sure, it wouldn't make any sense to go there, Niall. He ran off a 150 at Navan there, and he wasn't over competitive. He finished 6th or 7th, and the Irish handicapper dropped him a couple. I'll run off our own mark here in the Thyestes instead of a 148.
He hasn't just improved since he turned 12 a couple of days ago, has he?
Well, I rarely do it. They rarely do. I mean, he'd be an exception now if he got better at 12 than he was at 11 or 9 or 10. I haven't seen it, but you never know. It's a strange old world.
Yeah, and he's been a lovely old horse, hasn't he? But you're like them horses, Lescargo and Neptune Colons, lumping big weights. With all due respect, they had a better old CV than he had.
Yeah, they were Gold Cup horses, Grade 1 horses. Neptune Colons was a Grade 1 horse, and he was placed in the Gold Cup. I mean, this fella isn't up to that. He's a very good horse, good handicapper. He won the Kim Muir off a 143 with a great ride from Derek O'Connor.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see him. I couldn't see him. I mean, listen, Martin Greenwood has a job to do. I think the run he had, well, he was unlucky the year of the COVID. He got a few pounds for that, and then he met a well-handicapped horse 2 years ago, and he got a few more pounds for that. And listen, he's crawled up to, in the handicapper's eyes, I never thought he was quite the horse the English handicapper thought he was, but that's a difference of opinion.
Good stuff. Good off at a different tangent. Good. Naas has done well, haven't they? Rescheduled on Friday, obviously a track close by. That Lawlers looks a hell of a race.
Yeah, it's a good race. It's a great track. It's a good race. I'm glad it's on. It's a pity it wasn't for Lawlers. There was a great crowd there on Sunday. Would have been good for them, but it's a great track, as you know as well, and it'll be a great race. It's a great novice race. I was very impressed with Gordon's horse the last time he ran at Firefox, and that's Willie's. If something can beat him well, then you could definitely put him in as nailed on for one of the good novices at Cheltenham.
Okay, it's time to catch up with Daryl Jacob, and obviously a few serious questions to ask him. And Frankie Dettori done the Magnificent Seven. He started selling his own pizzas. He's done the Celebrity Jungle this year. Daryl, what was it like, first of all, to go through the card at Naas Sunday? Has it sunk in yet?
Actually, look, it's a great feather to have in your cap, isn't it, to go through the card, isn't it? Something that I've always wanted to do. I couldn't let Frankie steal all the limelight, so it's nice for a jump jockey to do it as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Night and day was that horse. She was good, wasn't she? Or was she good? I don't know what happened. Tell us what happened.
I was just going to say, no one knows whether she was good or whether she was bad, but to be fair to her, Niall, she was very, very good on the day. I've ridden her a couple of times over hurdles, and she'd had a few indifferent runs with me, and do you know what? It was lovely the other day. I know there was only 4 runners in the race, but I kind of wanted to ride her very, very differently to what I've ridden her before, and I literally just dropped her in. I just wanted to get her relaxed and get her jumping, because at times when I've ridden her before in the past, she's been very much on it and she hasn't been really giving herself a chance, and her jumping has been a little bit sketchy because of that. And I just thought, you know, I'd spoken to Simon, Isaac and Anthony, and I just said, I'm going to ride her very, very differently on the other day. And do you know what? It worked a treat. She jumped off. Probably helped mine that we couldn't see much in front of us, so she really had to concentrate and she really had to try and find her feet. But do you know what? She jumped off. She was very, very relaxed. She jumped great. She fiddled away when I needed her to fiddle, and you know, she picked up really well from the back of the last.
How bad was the fog riding in it?
I thought it was very challenging. For me personally, you know, it was, look, we could see the fences, you know, we could see the fences and all that in the distance 150 yards away, but at times up the home straight, the fog with it was a lot thinner. So it was, you know, you could see more in front of you up the home straight and by the stands. But when you went out into the country, when you jumped the 2 away from the stands out into the country, it was very thick down there, and you know, it was very, very hard. You know, I know the jockeys over there, and you know, look, I'm relatively experienced over there, but I haven't had, you know, hundreds of rides over there. But you know, some of the fences down there, I was really struggling to find my bearings where I was, and I'm just very, very lucky that I was in front of me. That, you know, we were chatting to each other going around. It was difficult. It was testing. You weren't really riding to, you know, but like I say, we negotiated. We done it well. I was lucky that it was only a 4-runner race, and I suppose it made it a little bit easier for the doctors and for the ambulance men.
Yeah. a little bit of breakup. We got the gist of it. It wasn't easy. Thank goodness we don't have to do it. Let's talk about Perry Pass behind Stateman. How can you beat Stateman going forward? Is it up and trip?
I think it's going to be very difficult, if I'm being totally honest with you. I mean, his record is there for everyone to see. We thought our horse has improved this year, and I think generally he has improved this year. I have absolutely no questions. If I was to ride the race again, would I do anything different? I wouldn't, Niall, if I'm being totally honest with you. And to me, that makes it a fair match, is in the fact that the best horse won the race, and more than likely the best horse will always win the race. If they turned up on their A game, Stateman's just a better horse, unfortunately, than in Perry Pass. And I had no, I didn't leave anything out there. I came there. The race worked out exactly the way I wanted to work out, or that I had hoped the race would work out. I came there to have a go at him at the last. My horse jumped the last really well, but Stateman still gained a length on me, in the air, and he was going away from me at the end of the race. So in my head, the best horse won the race, and I don't think we can beat Stateman.
Between now and the end of the season, where would you like to ride him?
I'd love to ride him wherever he turns up. I'd love to ride him, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
But where's his best chance of winning? Could it be a Stayers Hurdle horse?
Yeah, look at. I think there's options, as in the fact that you never say never. I mean, look at, there's still a bit of time to go before you get to Cheltenham. Anything could wrong. You know yourself, they're animals at the end of the day, and any of them could, right up to Cheltenham. You see in the build up to Cheltenham, horses do, unfortunately, their final pieces of work, they do go wrong. So, we're always going to have mentored for the champion, because you never ever know what's around the corner. But realistically, if they all lined up in the best possible shape that they could do, I think realistically, Perry Pass could probably finish third, all being well. Whereas, I think he's going to go chasing potentially next year. So why not try and nick a grade one, and whether that be the Stayers, or whether that be to Aintree for the 2.5, or even back at Punchestown. I've no idea. That's not my department, unfortunately, and I think I'll leave that up to Simon, Isaac, Anthony, and Willie.
Entolotta was your department riding him the other day for Juice O'Brien. He was impressive. Yeah,
I was really impressed with him. Niall, I know his schooling and all that had been quite nice leading up to it, and his work had been quite nice, and he was a nice horse on the flat as well. And the very soft ground there, we had a lot of water, and it was lovely, and he just grinded out. I thought he was a bit novice-y early doors during the race. I took him back. I got him into a lovely rhythm halfway down the back, and he just seemed to, the longer the race went on, the better he felt underneath me. And from the back of 3 out, I always felt quite confident on him, really. And it was just trying to get the right passage through at the right time to kind of come there going to the last, and not be in front too soon, or not leaving it too late. And like you say, fair play to the horse. He pricked his ears going down to the last. He was underneath it, but he was still quick at it. And I was impressed the way he picked up from the back of the last.
He's one for the future. A couple in the past, unfortunately now, So Royal and Zambella. A tougher gelding and a tougher mare you'll never have rode.
No, and it's quite emotional actually talking about them horses, because especially Score Royale, he's been with me from pretty much my day one of Simon and Isaac and Anthony's adventure. I won 15 races on him, and he was up there for all them years. He was up at the highest level, or pretty much near enough the highest level, with Altior and all of them wonderful horses that he used to race against and bump in against. And he always held his own, didn't he? He wasn't the biggest horse, but he had a big heart. He was a lovely looking horse, and he tried every day he went out onto that race course. He tried his best for you. And when you win 15 races on a horse, they're very, very hard horses to replace. And he was such a lovable horse as well. Everyone loved him, and I think Alan King and his team have done a fantastic job to keep a horse, as you know yourself, to keep a horse at the highest, and his enthusiasm for the game, everything about him for that amount of time. It's huge credit to Alan and his team. And but I'll miss him a lot, mind. I'll miss him a lot.
Good stuff. Fun memories of the pair of them. Daryl, great to catch up. So much to look forward to with yourself. We wish you injury-free going forward, and thanks very much, and the very best of luck.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a million.
Good stuff from around the yards and the ski slopes this week. Thanks to all the lads for taking their time out, as we are going to hopefully give you some winners for the weekend. Are we?
It's always the aim. It's always the aim. That is one thing we have been a bit like. I feel like we've been a bit unlucky, you know, putting up horses the week before or 2 weeks before it clicks. But it's not as low-key as last week, obviously with the abandonments, but it is one of those calm before the storm sort of weekends. But, you know, it's the mare Apple Away has 2 entries. She's in the Towton Weatherby, which, as Scoop pointed out to me before, and I'd hardly noticed, it's over a different trip this time around. It's 2.5 miles. That'd pass me by. But there's also an entry in the 3 mile chase at Warwick, the novice there. And I just really like Grey Dawning. I think he's taken magnificently well to fences. He's a proper striking grey horse who you can sort of get behind aesthetically. His jumping has been absolutely tremendous, bar Cheltenham, where he landed on the last, a bit like Ed Keeper we discussed in the team tracker section. But what a monstrous effort to come back for more and close the gap on Ginny's Destiny. So I think he's well worth his place at this level, and at the time of recording I'd have him favourite for that 3 mile novice.
Okay, Grey Dawning for the Skeltons.
Well, there's plenty priced up to have a go at this week, isn't there? But I'm not going to go for one of those because I've got a horse that's been on my radar, Pepe Le Moco for Jane Williams. He's taken really well to fences, like Don's horse, and won at Warwick, and then came out and was second at Plumpton in a good race because Scarface and Godot were behind him that day. They both came out and won at Plumpton's valuable race day on Sunday, so it looks really good form, and I think he's been aimed at this 2.5 mile handicap chase at Kempton on Saturday, the 3:15. Jane Williams has won it before with Eric LaRouge, so I think this has been the plan to come here. He's going to be off a really low weight and he's progressing nicely, so Pepe Le Moco is my weekend bet.
Okay, good stuff. Right, hopefully a couple of winners for the weekend. Hopefully it's going to warm up and we should get racing all going ahead this weekend. Famous last words, but hopefully it will do. We'll be back next week. Very best of luck with your selections this week.